Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Today's discussion day. We're going to be talking a little bit on how we can use our land as a way of generating income. So usually we know that the land is already an asset. It appreciates whenever we convert, we sell it, change ownership. We know that we usually get the cash that represents the value of the property. But in the event that we don't want to sell, how can we really use the property that we have to generate some no income for us? And Raman is going to tell us about this property that we had since 2016.
So if you look guys, today we are standing on a piece of property that we acquired back in January 2016. And we have had it for a while and not do much to it. If you notice, it's flat. That's because we already got a excavator to come in and cut down the land and cut a level spot. So now we are just thinking and we are just exploring ideas of what we could do with this land.
Alright, so let me tell you some of the characteristics so that can guide you when we make the suggestions. So as he said, we are perched on top of the hill. There is the 180-degree mountain view. You are at one with nature when you come here because of the presence of the birds and the trees. We have access to road. There is running water. Anything else? It's rural, but we are still pretty much close to the town center.
Yes, that is correct.
So those are really some of the defining features, and I want you to keep those in the back of your minds as we brainstorm and see how we can actually get going now and make something of it without selling it. So we're going to be having that kind of discussion today.
Okay.
Usually try to get as many pieces of land as possible, because for many of us, land means wealth. It's a symbol of wealth. People fight for land because they want to have the land because that means wealth to them. But just having the land idly, I don't really see how I'm going to benefit from the appreciated value. So what can we do right now with it so that it can become an income earning or an income generating asset? How can I use it in the know? What are some of the different things that we can actually look at doing with it so we can earn from it?
Alright, one of the things we can look at is the equity in the land. Right?
What do you mean by equity?
Now, equity is the difference between how much you owe on your mortgage and what the land is valued now. So let me break that down. So for example, if you owe $10 million on your mortgage, and the land is valued at $20 million now, it means that you have $10 million worth of equity in that land. Now you can approach a bank and the bank will basically explain how you can access that.
So the equity, let me just repeat that so we can be sure that I'm understanding. So the equity is basically the difference between what the land value now or what the property value now and the loan that you have on it.
Correct.
So that would be your personal, what you own in it.
Correct.
So what you own in it, when you go to the bank, then basically you're going to do what? You want a loan against it.
Correct.
So you're going to basically use what you own, the value that you own in it, as collateral to get a loan, which probably would be at a lower interest rate than if you had gotten an unsecured loan. But I still want a loan here, tell me. So how is it that a loan is going to become an income generating means for me? Because when we go to the bank and get the equity, and a free money may I get, even though it represents the value that I have in the property. It's not free. You're lending me with interest. So how can I really benefit from that?
Well, it depends. It depends on what you use that money to do. Okay. Because whatever you put that money in, the return on that investment should be more than what you are getting, what the interest rate is that you are going to pay. or what the interest on that loan is going to be.
So hold on. So it's only going to benefit me if whatever I use that money to do is generating more profit than the interest on the loan.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So I can't. Alright. So let's say I use that money to probably buy one car. I'm gonna use the car in taxi. After the money that I get from the taxi operator, pay back the loan, pay back the interest of the loan, then what I get after that would be the profit that I am gaining from the equity. Is that how it works?
Correct.
The other thing that I'm thinking about though, the equity can probably become useful if you think of it as something you can use in cases of emergency. Because probably if I approach the bank and I want $10 million to borrow and my little meager salary, then probably laugh off of me. But then I probably can use the equity in my home and borrow in cases of emergency. Let's say I have a surgery to do or somebody needs college tuition. I don't know. Some real true emergency or worth borrowing for. Then you can use the equity in your home in that case. So there it wouldn't necessarily be an income generator, but it's kind of a bailout.
An emergency.
In cases of emergency. So you say it's only gonna generate income if you are investing it in something where you can make enough profit to cover the loan and the interest on the loan. Fine. So equity are number one. We can use the equity in the land to generate income. So that's number one. So use the equity to generate income. What else can I do with the piece of land that I have just put on like that?
Well, you can also look at going into agriculture.
Okay.
Whether it be crops or livestock, you decide. But you can do some form of agriculture on that land and sell the produce, make a profit, which brings income.
Okay, get that. So instead of have the piece of land on the back, we probably can just go out there and probably start do some watermelon, some pepper, something. And then no, because even if I don't make a huge sum of money, and if you're organized, you can make proper money through the agriculture. But even if I just do your little thing and sell it back at work, you still probably can use that money to cover a bill rather than just having the land out there.
And not earning from it.
And not earning from it. So you say equity, you say agriculture. Everybody know, Raman, about building on a land.
Correct.
So, oh, you know, man, that should have number one. That should have number one I mentioned. If I have the land, the next thing we do is build some money. Or we can build some money.
Well, there are a number of options that you can explore as it relates to building, right? For art, one, we can build something on the land for like rental or short-term rental.
Okay. Long-term or short-term rental. Alright.
Two, we can develop the land. Now we're talking probably about a big piece of land which we can subdivide, put in the necessary infrastructure, whether it be road, water, light, etc. And then we can subdivide up the land and sell it back in smaller portions to individuals. So
hold on, me get that part. So if me now have my 5 acre, if you say me can cut up my 5 acre in some quarters, that will leave little space for probably the road.
Green spaces, as per what the requirements would be.
So me have my 5 acre, cut it up in a quarter acre, probably when we sell it up, me make more money.
Yes.
Than if we sell the whole.
Yes.
So that's a one consideration. So we can, so as it relates to building, can do short-term rental, long-term rental, or subdivide. I like to recap, so let me recap again. Number one is so we can use the equity. So take equity loan and use that start business. Two, so we can look into agriculture. 3, build for long-term rental, short-term rental, or subdivide. Alright, we can't bother to build nothing right now. We don't have no money to build nothing. What else we can do? Lease? Oh.
Well,
people still lease land?
Yes.
Long time I hear nobody say they lease land.
I mean, you can lease the land to somebody, and that person may want the land to do the same agriculture. They may want to farm on it. Okay. So you can lease it to them. You can lease it to some. Maybe the person wants to put up a greenhouse. You never know, but leasing the land is also one option of.
Because at least you get something off of it. At least you get something off of it. Alright, so we lease. What about probably doing some events like set up environment?
Yes, you can do that as well. A lot of people now searching for places
outdoor
spaces to keep functions and so on. So maybe you could do some landscaping and put in some water features and some nice background and stuff, and have it as a venue that you could rent.
Okay, people come do yoga.
People come and do
stretch. I never know money, bro. No, these are real things because there are many people who live in areas where they don't have the outdoor space.
Yes.
So if you have an outdoor space available, that's probably one way you can get it sorted out. Plus, you have to think about the fact too that sometimes you don't have a lot of money to invest where you can do a building. But you probably have the skills to do the garden, to set up the garden. So you can look on how you can use your own skills with the limited cash that you have to set up something where you can generate some income.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the capital for all of these ideas that we're throwing out there, the capital is important.
Hold it there, so right. So come and recap my 5 things and what we can do, and then I'm going to ask, how do you know what is suitable for you? Because not everybody can do everything, because you touch on capital, and you know a lot of people don't really have the money to set up the things that they think about, because they have the grand ideas and the shorter ideas. Most time are shorter money. So we say equity loan, that's 1. 2, agriculture. 3, build for short-term, long-term rental or subdivide. 4, lease. 5, venue rental. So, how do I know what is suitable for me? What are the things that I look at? How do I know that I'm the one who really should be doing the agriculture, or I'm the one who should be doing the long-term rental? What are some of the factors that should influence the kind of decision that I make as it relates to how I use that land?
First, you have to think about what you can afford.
Affordability capital.
Understand? We might say going to take the equity, but even though there's a $10 million equity in the land, it's still a mortgage. You're still going to have monthly payments to make. So you have to, and top of that, the previous mortgage.
You still have the previous mortgage. Can a salary manage an additional mortgage?
I mean, the bank will help you with that.
If you can't afford it, you just not get it. But sometimes, even though you can't afford it, it's probably not a wise decision, because what you're gonna do will probably put on more pressure than generate enough profit to help you out.
For example, let's look at this. I have a piece of land, and I decide to build something for, let's say, long-term rental. No, the initial capital to do that is a lot, because you can't build a house for cheap nowadays. So it's gonna cost you a whole heap just to build.
Just to set up, just to start off.
No, when I'm done building and I'm, let's say, renting that for like, let's say $50,000, but then my mortgage and all of my other expenses are like $45,000.
What's your profit? What's your profit?
So my profit is like $5,000. No.
But no work there. We don't want $5,000. We can't do enough other things to make $5,000 rather than to go to all that.
So you might look at doing something that takes a less, the initial capital is less, and probably give you a greater return than actually put it. So you have to think about that.
The money, the financing.
The financing when you're looking to do that kind of.
We think location is another key factor. And every land suitable for everything based on where they are located. Yes, you have 2 acres, but if you have the 2 acres in a deep rural area where there is no road, there is no water, if you go there and put a 2-bedroom, you might not get it rented, and you might not be able to pay back the mortgage.
Yes.
And
similarly, having a farm or a farm in a scheme.
That you can't have
pig in it. You can't have pig in it. You can't have pig in it people in the scheme, and pig pen really smell so good. So
you won't need land were probably secluded from where people live. To kind of bring the location with the capital, I think sometimes we have to just know that we're going to start small.
Yes.
start, because yes, you have 2 acres of land, yes, you might be able to plow up the 2 acres of land, but then after you plow it up, you can't do nothing more because you not even have money to buy the seed then. It probably would be best if you use one really small patch, start with some pepper, so you know when the pepper then go, then the yield is good.
Yeah, and then when the profit from that turnover, you can expand.
So sometimes you can't think about using all the space at once. Small space, but just make sure, say, whatever idea you're coming up with, it's something that can generate some income. I think that's the key. Because you can start but not reach very far because the idea is so grand you can't finance it. The idea sometimes doesn't match the location. So you check out your location and make sure, so whatever idea you come up with is something that you are able to sustain. Because if you can't set it off properly, it don't make no sense. You start the building, but then you only can do 1 room. When you rent the 1 room, you don't make no money to pay about nothing. So you don't make no. It's kind of like, and then when you're attracting situations like that, you feel like you're wasting your time and you get demotivated.
Also, I'd like to point out that one of the advantages of real estate, I mean, even if you're in a situation like that where you're renting somewhere and you're barely making anything off it, you're barely making any profit. The mortgage remains the same. However, the rent increases
with time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So eventually down the road, you will start seeing a profit from it.
My question though, down the road when I start seeing a profit, the tenant them don't tear out to what no much of place already, and I have to do a whole heap of renovation, what take 1 heap of capital again, and then the process continues.
Yes.
So that kind of really tricky. I think the key is to make sure that you are putting in what you can afford. And the business is so structured that you can get a real profit. Some of the profit are going to take time for you to get, and everything you will get instantly. But it needs to be something that you can afford. You need to start small, and you have to start smart. Because remember, you know, the aim is not to seem like you're making the money, you know, because if you're renting the place for 120,000 sounds good, but then when you pay 118,000 for your mortgage, that really $2,000 that you can't leave your job for that. And if you're moving into financial independence, you better you make $15,000 than working, having 120 in hand, but not making any true profit from it. So the small ideas with the land, like doing the agriculture but starting on very small scale, that can help. Building in probably find a cheap way to build, or a cheaper way to build, so you can make some profit. We have to kind of think, how do we minimize on the capital that we put in? Yes, we're going to have to maximize in other ways though, because time is going to take time. It's going to take up the human resource part of it, and we can't think that things are going to just work. You know, we talk about the passive income and think we don't do anything. We know we have to do something, but if we don't have the money, how can we maximize from the very little we have?
Yes.
And that brings us to where we started, because we started by looking at the property that we have, and we want to do something with it this year. So considering all that we just spoke about, and I know you have your own ideas, you have your own experiences, you know things that we haven't even touched on in the discussion. Considering all of that, in what way would you invest in a property like this so you are able to maximize and not kill yourself to find the capital to start up?
So tell us in the comment section, how would you invest in a property like this to ensure that it starts producing an income for you? So comment down below and how you would do that.
If you found this discussion very interesting, if you benefited from any part of it, be sure to like it. What else should they do?
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to the channel. What else should they do?
Share it with your friends.
Share it with your friend, and of course, as he said earlier, comment below. We'll be having more discussions like this to ensure that all of us as young people move away from just sitting down in front of a desk or whatever we do to a place of complete financial freedom. And we have started out today by looking at land that we have, how we can use it to get started. See you next video.
Thanks for watching.